of today. It's FoCuS versus WFZ. 120 versus Fly here not too long ago had an amazing game on Twisted with absolutely crazy micro, as we're of course used to seeing from 120 by now. This guy just doesn't slack off. It was TC second, and his answer was, well, you want to stomp all my units? Guess what? I'm just going to play Mass Destroyers. You can't stomp those. And he just kept his heroes alive with statues, with, as I said before, excellent micro. And I think he even found a Staff of Silence?
Yes.
Or maybe that was another game.
I think that was it.
So, big question for FoCuS is going to be Tauren Chieftain or Shadowhunter, maybe even Triple Hero.
Yeah.
But Triple Hero can be dangerous if you face a lot of aggression from the undead on tier 3 and you don't get SH and TC to level 3. Those heroes can be fairly underwhelming, especially from the hero nuke we see coming out, especially out of 120. I think WFZ focuses the heroes maybe slightly less, but 120, when he has the opportunity, he definitely goes for them. And I'm pretty sure that WFZ has been looking over to 120's games, because I think he has to admit as well that he no longer owns the crown of the Undeads.
Indeed. Very interesting, by the way, both players faced the exact same opponents in this tournament already, and they both came out with the exact same results. Winner bracket round 16, FoCuS lost 0-3 to Yumiko. At first it was a little surprising to me, but now seeing in what great shape Yumiko is, no surprise anymore. He went on to face Remind and got a clean 3-0 from him. And for WFZ, it was the other way around in the round of 16 winner bracket. He defeated Remind 3-0 and then lost to Yumiko as well, 0-3 in the winner bracket quarterfinal. One of those players, of those beautiful, great players, is gonna drop out. It's super unfortunate, but of course the tournament has to continue. It's either gonna be FoCuS or WFZ.
Yeah, man, this tournament is so stacked. Like, players who dropped out the first round, already you're like, how can players like this drop out in the first round? But hey, that's what happens when you have a tournament with pretty much exclusively the best players in the world. But let's get into a little bit of strategy here now in this game on Twisted Meadows. Of course, we see the DK first, the so-called TED build order, not the Fast Fiends, because if you go for the Fast Fiends, your creeping can be disrupted incredibly hard by the Orc player, because it's pretty tough to creep any camp at all on Twisted Meadows, unless of course it's the tiny gnolls, which we're seeing being taken right now, but they barely give any experience. So in the early game with this strategy from the Undead, usually the Orc is the creeping player, and the Undead is trying to be the disruptive force. But we haven't seen too much creeping from FoCuS so far. He has reached level 2 at the moment, but what WFZ really wants to avoid is a level 3 Blade Master when he's still level 1. This can happen if FoCuS does it extremely well. He's scouting for the Undead right now. He wants to steal some creeps, he wants to take some experience away and pressure some. And he's gonna find him in just a second here.
Yeah, WFZ started this with a skull and wanted to creep this big rock golem spot, but nope. FoCuS says, I won't let you do that, and interrupt with a Blade Master. So the creeping plans of WFZ have been cancelled. The Grunts, in the meantime, not supporting this creep jack. Nope, they are going for the next orange spot here. And I think that's looking fairly good. A nice creep route for the Blade Master here. He has Boots of Speed, he has the Circle of Ability. And at the moment, there's nothing that WFZ can do.
And this will be exactly level 3. If my math is correct here, this will be 1 point over level 3. And then he can harass so crazy much. He has a lot of mana for Windwalk. And let's see if I'm correct on my math. I'm absolutely wrong. But if he takes another tiny creep camp, oh man. Never do math on stream. You like to remind me of this, but I always defy your orders. So, level 3, very close for FoCuS. I'm surprised he doesn't take a green camp with his grunts, but I guess he can just as well take away some gnolls from his opponent. And now he's going to be level 3. Yeah. And now the screws are really going to be on, but WFC sees this and he can easily steal with a coil, but he doesn't do it. No. I guess he wants to go for the grunt instead. Does not get the experience, unfortunately. I think the big one, the gnoll, got it.
Yeah, I think so too. He was level 2 after the orange spot. Now surrounded the Blade Master, but of course there's plenty of mana. As you mentioned before, we have the Lich out, so with Frost Armor things are gonna be a little easier for the Undead to defend. FoCuS lost one Grunt. That is a big thing in the early game, but I think as long as your opponent doesn't get the experience, it's not that hard of a deal. It's only 200 gold and a little damage and tankiness that you lack. So it could have gotten way worse, and things are looking okay for FoCuS. Oh, what do you think?
Yeah, also, most of his grunts survived. He lost one, which it was a little bit greedy. You know, he tries to take away the creep camp from the other. He takes away the experience, loses the grunt though. Is that worth it? I'm not entirely sure. But with this quick tech from the Undead, with the strategy that he chose, there's of course drawbacks and benefits to it. Benefit is you have very fast tier 2 and the Lich because of this. The Lich was faster than the SH, something that never happens with a quick feed build order. But the downside, his DK is only level 2.5, and he's now sharing experience. And if he gives up this Rock Golem, he really can't afford to do this. He needs the experience desperately, but he has no more dust. He's trying to go for a gamble here. Oh, he actually gets it. That was pretty lucky, and also gets the big item, the greater healing. FoCuS was waiting there in the wings, but missed the last hit.
Yeah, that was kind of a no-brainer to get him there, but maybe ping, I don't know, for the Koreans it doesn't seem to be so good to play on natties than it is for the Koreans. Maybe that was the issue that forced WFZ into getting both of this. So we have the Parrot of Fatality of on the Shadow Hunter. We see the first Raiders, we see the first Walkers, and now there is the tier 3 tech for FoCuS. That's the strategy that he usually goes for. One Walker to dispel the Frost Armor, to dispel some skeletons if he finds them, and then go for the tier 3 tech, go for the Kodos, go for the Headhunters, maybe here on Twisted, go for the TC as well.
Yeah, if there's ever a map to do it, it is Twisted. But those top Undeads, they will pressure you before you reach that level on the TC that you so desperately desire. So it is a risk to go for. Last week we saw Fly go for the expansion when he thought he had an advantage, but 120 just incredibly well pressuring that Expo, finding the levels he needs before pressuring and then going for it. And I imagine that FoCuS has paid attention to those games. FoCuS, I think, is a very diligent player, he's a workhorse, basically.
Yeah.
He plays every cup there is, almost, and I imagine he always also spends a lot of time watching replays and studying his opponents and studying the game, the meta game and everything. So I think he saw that game, and now seeing how he decides to go forward is going to be interesting. He's going for the Spirit Walkers, so he wants to have the damage mitigation from the Spirit Link plus the heal from the Shadow Hunter, the second hero. So he really doesn't want to lose his Blade Master to Hero Focus.
Blade Master with the Flute of Accuracy and the Belt of Giant Strength, not the greatest items. The Lich and the Undead in general was wasting a little time inside his main base to wait for the tier 3 to happen and of course get the Orb of Corruption, which make things a lot easier. And what's he going for? Of course, Destroyer upgrade. We don't see a Sacrificial Pit yet, so Worms may be out of the equation for this game. Scouting continuously by WFZ with Skeletons to scout for expansions, and here's the Dark Ranger as the third hero. In the series of Fly versus 120, the Dark Ranger had a statistic of 0 to 3. In the meantime, the Pit Lord 2 to 0. Might be the wrong choice here.
Yeah, it's I think primarily because he hasn't found the opponent yet, he hasn't scouted yet, so he doesn't know if it's a SH or a TC. He's only seen the Blade Master so far and the Grunts in the early game. Other than that, he hasn't seen anything, and he wants to have his third hero already now to start leveling him up. If he goes for the Pit Lord here, and there is a TC on the other side, that can be a big disaster, because you really need the silence against the Storm. Now he's going for the red camp. The Blade Master's here trying to slow this down, and I think we're gonna have the first big fight of the game as FoCuS is coming from the left.
Yeah, he found the big mana potion on the mercenary camp. What was the item, by the way? Orb of Darkness. Okay, not that great. Invo potion being popped, or WFZ in a bad position here. The creeps are still attacking him. The fiends, 2 are about to die. 1 getting burrowed. The second one not able to, and no call because of Hex. So good fight for FoCuS. And here comes the End Snare on the Destroyer with Purge. He will be able to get him, I guess. But the Lich helps here at the moment. Coil saves the Destroyer for now, but the damage from the Blade Master, of course, so high. That's a big loss here to take.
He's trying to go for the Blade Master all the time, but there's too much damage mitigation, there's too much healing. The Kodo now being able to eat, and he's only engaging this fight when he's already lost 2 units. The Fiend and the Statue now losing another Fiend. He gets the Kodo though, gets his Fiend back. The Destroyer is still up in the air. He's gonna be coiled one more time, and he barely gets the healing done before the Destroyer dies, but that was the last coil. There's no more mana, and that is gonna be the sign to retreat. And he needs to unburrow the second Fiend as well, so he saves a few units, but definitely a favorable trade from FoCuS. And this was just the perfect fight to take. You wait until he wakes the creeps up, he's taking damage, you're slowing this down with a Blade Master, and your units are coming from the left. Perfect engagement pretty much from FoCuS. Maybe WFZ should have TP'd out way sooner.
Yeah, I would definitely agree to that. Using 3 calls on the Destroyer and then losing it in the town portal, that's such a big loss. And on top of that, 2 Fiends plus this statue and the town portal, of course. And
A player's forces are
I
under
think
attack.
FoCuS only lost a Grunt and not much else. And the Invo Potion.
Look at this nice little move. Now, the Undead was forced to TP back, but of course, as we all know, Undeads, as long as they can keep on creeping, they're satisfied. So what does he do to ensure that he can keep creeping? He's just sending mass skeletons into the main. Just force a little bit back from the Orc. If it's only the Blade Master that is forced back, that's good enough for him. That means he's safe for creeping. So nice little touch here from WFZ. He has gotten the TP again, so he's not going super risky, and he has found the Pendant of Mana. Probably the best item he can find on this map.
Yeah, but speaking of great item drops, man, the Shadow Hunter, Tome of Experience, and the Boots of Quel'Thalas for the Blade Master. On top of things, Pocket Expansion for FoCuS on its natural in the upper right, so that one's also up. I mean, the item drops at the moment just absolutely crazy for both of them. Boots of Quel'Thalas here for the Dark Ranger as well, a nice little damage boost for her, but that's not really as good as it is for the Blade Master, obviously. Scout Skeleton immediately, so the scouting of WFZ is really, really good. He does this throughout the entire game, skeletons everywhere on Twisted. So he knows about this, but of course it's a pocket expansion, he can't really cancel it.
Yeah, again, skeletons walking towards the main, seeing the Orc coming, and now WFZ really doesn't want to fight. He doesn't have any mana basically on the DK, and you want to have the Pendant of Mana on your DK and the Mana Potion. That is so much value. Usually a Mana Potion gives you 150, but with a Pendant of Mana, it's more like 220. Something like this. You would have to do the math, and as you guys noticed before, I may not be the best person to do this. And we have a Sacrificial Pit, by the way, as we saw from the shade already. WFZ has been playing a bit of Frostworms on ladder, I saw, but I don't think he has the time for this game. Orc has done what Orcs do oftentimes in this matchup. They get the first fight, they get an advantage, and they think, alright, with this advantage, I have the time, I have the freedom of spending my resources, my investment, into an expansion. And now the clock is running for him, and WFZ pretty much has to make this attack work. As you say, he scouted it before, but again, he's splitting his forces. Seems like he wants to attack the main with his army and maybe harass the expansion with the ghouls, but there is a burrow in position.
Yeah, looking good for FoCuS. This burrow is indeed finished, so he can easily pull the peons in there, do some damage, and prevent damage, of course, from the peons themselves. But it looks like the ghouls are just scouts, and the rest of the army is coming as well. But FoCuS is waiting already. The almost level 5 Shadow Hunter with +3 intelligence and the big potion. Lots of headhunters here as well with +8 damage. Of course, the flute was a great addition to the army now. On top of things, of course, the Kodo aura. So the boost is real. Level 4 on the Death Knight and Snare immediately on the Destroyer. 4 Destroyers now here.
Immediately going for the Shadow Hunter, a bit slightly out of position, but he repositions himself. Now trying to go for the heroes. Again, the Blade Master being focused. But all the Berserkers have absolutely free reign. Lich also in trouble. Invo on the Blade Master keeps him alive. But the other doesn't have anywhere to kite back to. He's pretty much stuck against the trees. He gets a few raiders here, gets a few skeletons thanks to the Dark Arrow, but he's losing Destroyer after Destroyer as we see the second one falling. Also the Statue and Snared will be dropping, but also FoCuS is losing a few units, but level 5 on the SH man, so much healing, still has the greater mana up his sleeve. He gets rid of the last Kodo, that's a big deal. But then there's still so much healing remaining. Only 43 supply, however, for the Undead against a whopping 58 from the Orc. Now the Lich in trouble. Coil, though, keeps him alive. The greater healing has already been used, and the last Destroyer falls. Only 3 Fiends here on the battlefield. Dust gets rid of the invisibility on the Fiend, and yeah, they're dropping one by one like flies. They might be spiders, but they do look like flying insects in this game. And FoCuS, man, his heroes have nothing to fear. So much healing. Now the Dark Ranger in trouble. Backstab coming in, and only 2 heroes remaining. That's it. FoCuS rides it out.
Wow, that seemed very, very easy for FoCuS, if I may say so. Of course, he benefited a lot from the items. I mean, every single Headhunter plus 8 damage. That's so much. He had like, I don't know, 6 or 7 plus 42 damage or whatever this was. And WFZ didn't focus them really. I mean, his first target were of course the Kodos. That's what you want to do. But they made so much damage to the Destroyers that he had no damage himself. And yeah, I guess that cost him the game, of course.
Yeah, it was that mistake at where he was creepjacked. Oftentimes, especially undead players who tend to whine a little bit here and there, say you can't make mistakes as undead. And it does seem like you can't make too many mistakes. And that one creepjack was just too much, you know? He loses 1 or 2 Fiends for free, and the Destroyer, and the statue. Yeah, and the statue. And then he has to TP out, rebuy the TP. And by that point, it's just too much damage taken. And it's because it's Twisted Meadows, because there's so many creep camps to take. The SH was like 40 or 60 experience away from level 5 when the fight started. So he got that level 5 very quickly. And then he has level 3 heal wave with a greater mana.
Yeah.
So fighting through that, I think you need level 5 DK, level 3 Lich, and maybe level 2 Silence to fight through that healing, to have the burst damage necessary. But that's so hard to do. Yeah. And again, maybe the Pit Lord would have been the better choice because there was no TC in this game. Maybe he should try to emphasize scouting the second hero earlier. Because as I said before, last series, TC was super successful. And it seems like in the Asian scene, that hero might be the better choice to go for if there is a Shadowhunter second.
Yeah. Next map is gonna be Turtle Rock, and that it's supposed to be the best undead map out there. The game is up, by the way. And yeah, but we know FoCuS knows this map inside out as well. He has very cool creep routes here. I guess maybe the best Orcish creep routes, together with Fly, obviously, here, who creeps the entire Merchant with only 1 Blade Master and a Grunt. But we'll see if that's gonna work out for him. In general, good map for WFZ to come back into this series and to equalize.
Yeah, Turtle Rock, of course, the undead dream. But with Orc, it's a little bit... it's not as good. Because the thing about Turtle Rock is, it's hard to creep. And that's good against human, and that's good against Night Elf. Also because there's no mercenaries camps and no goblin laboratories, where those 2 races really benefit from. But with grunts, and of course there will be no one borrowed tech, there will be more grunts, because it's important to have grunt pressure in the early game against undead. You can pretty much creep everything. So for Orcs don't suffer that much from Turtle Rock. And also it comes to bite the undead in the ass a little bit himself when he can't take that many creep camps where the Orc can always find him. So I wouldn't say that it's that great of an undead map against Orc at least, but probably better than Twisted. Twisted is pretty much the best Orc map. Maybe Twisted and Amazonia. Yeah, so this has to pretty much be WFZ's map to win, I think.
I think so too. I don't really know the rest of the map pool that we're gonna see here. We have Echo Isles, which could be great for the Blade Master, obviously. We have Tarina Stand, which is not really a good undead map, I guess, as well. And then, of course, we talked about Amazonia and what was the final map? Ancient Isles, I guess. So I feel he has to win this year as well. And we are ready, waiting for Korean television, I guess, to start this. So once again, we can give a little overview over the programming of the upcoming days. Today, of course, 2 NWL days. Tomorrow we're gonna start at 12 again for WCA. We have the match of Yumiko versus ZDR, Human versus Orc. ZDR, of course, the biggest surprise of this WCA Pro qualifier. Then we're gonna follow it up with the NWL again. Infi versus Moon, El Clasico, as they call it on Read More here. It has been postponed twice, but now the match is set in stone and it's gonna be tomorrow. We're gonna do a replay cast because it starts at the same time as the WCA, and of course WCA is always more important. And then we have 6 hours of Jera Cup to cast. We're gonna be joined by Passion from France, the Night Elf player, who barely made it to WCA 2015. But yeah, that's gonna be good. On Sunday, of course, we'll be back with WCA as well as Jera Cup with Thendis. Farewell cast here with us. Oops, I gotta update the score. And on Monday, we're gonna be here for WCA as well. So tons and tons and tons of Warcraft, but we're here right now. NWL Loser Bracket Round 2. FoCuS versus WFZ on Turtle Rock.
Yep, 4 days straight Warcraft, so you guys can stick to this channel if you want to see some more Warcraft. And what you guys can also do, by the way, is follow our channel. Click that little follow button there in the bottom left of your browser, because we're pretty damn close to 10,000 actually. Only about 600 followers left, so get us closer to that goal. We would like to hit that benchmark, and then, I don't know, then we can go to sponsor and say, look, we got 10,000 followers. So sponsor a tournament already, you dicks, or something like this. Probably it's gonna work. I'm gonna be doing the negotiations, so what can go wrong?
Yeah, sure.
But map number 2. This is Turtle Rock. This is one of the better undead maps, definitely better than Twisted Meadows. And here is where it's possible to go for the fast fiends. It's not like it's impossible spots to take for the undead that can be pressured incredibly hard by the orc. Usually, undead finds somewhere to creep with this build order and isn't pressured into submission. Unless, of course, the orc is being super aggressive and does a really good job. But by the looks of it, it seems like FoCuS prefers to get his levels early, but maybe that was just because of the TED BO on map number 1. So strategically for the early game already, I think this is going to be interesting to see, and this might also be an opportunity for WFZ to evaluate how FoCuS likes to play, because if he stays defensively here in the early game, I assume he's going to be rather defensively throughout the entire game, and maybe WFZ will be able to exploit this with more greedy creeping. For example, last game, Shadowhunter 2nd was not being aggressive at all. He immediately went for the creeps. He basically kept on creeping until level 4 or something, and then he looked for the engagement. Many other orcs like to be very aggressive. They get clarity and heal self and speed scroll on the SH and immediately on tier 2 run towards the undead. But FoCuS seems like doesn't seem to prefer that kind of play style. And the Blade Master, of course, is going to be trying to look for the claws of attack here, and there's lots of claws to be had on Turtle Rock.
And there's the first gloves of haste. Yeah, good job, Remo. Introducing this matchup on this map. There's basically nothing left for me to say now.
You can talk about the shops.
Yeah, the shops are very important. Well, not on these positions, I guess. But of course, there's going to be a watch award if you kill the Ogre Magi. But FoCuS is not going for the so-called FoCuS creep. He's going for the Maulers here and still trying to stack his Blade Master. I think that's pretty unusual for FoCuS on Turtle Rock to not do this magic creep. But he wants to show some map presence. He wants to get the items as fast as possible. Second Gloves of Haste, not that great because they don't stack that well.
And the undead immediately going for the Ogre. This is so risky. Imagine if FoCuS was here. There's a Fiend ensnared here. This might kill the Fiend. If not, it could at least force all of the mana out of the DK, who has already used 2 coils. But he's rewarded. He gets the Magi, he gets the ward, he gets the item, which is the Claws +9. Very nice for the Lich. And FoCuS's defensive stance, well, it's not even that defensive. He's coming with level 2, which is the standard, and he has the very nice items, by the way. But, whoa, that was... I'm kind of baffled here. This was so risky. Imagine FoCuS was on the other starting position, on the top left. This would all look so differently. So, it looks like the undead is taking a risk early, but so far it has paid off. Now he sees the Blade Master coming, thanks to the ward. And the DK is kind of low, needs to be slightly careful.
But I guess he will get away. Or here's backstab damage. Might be blocked by the skeletons. No, not really. He positions himself around that Watcher ward to see the Blade Master. But okay, that's it for now. The Grunt comes in to block, but no, he predicts the movement wrong, and so the Blade Master will not be able... Oh, second block attempt. This one's a little better. Backstab damage coming in again, but now on Blight, I think the Death Knight is safe here. Tier 2 only halfway through, so no potions available.
But there is an arrow tower. Yeah. And this was a tiny bit of pretty cool movement from WFZ. When he saw the Blade Master at the shop, he did not go towards the right straight for his base because he pretty much knew that there was going to be a grunt in position to block, so he went to his natural, to the gargantuan sea turtle, and escaped through that way. So nice forward thinking by the Undead, saved him a little bit of experience, hit points I mean. Unfortunately, he still ran into a block. But yeah, this is the nature of this matchup in the early game. The Orc is just absolutely dominant, and the Undead has to stay at home, has to have a lot of skeletons to have some normal damage against the Blade Master, has to have that Blight regen, especially if he takes that much damage early on the DK. But he wasn't forced to Town Portal, he's not like in red HP, but now finding level 3. Where do you find level 3? This is the issue with Turtle Rock. You took the creeps next to your main, where do you go now?
Yeah. FoCuS stole the little turtles here, he got the shop, he got these maulers, so yeah, what can you do? Maybe the turtle spawn in front of your base, which is pretty hard because the turtles have medium armor and you approach with fiends, so that's not the best thing to do. Maybe with ghoul support or something, but he needs of course the lumber. It's hard. Lich, second hero, obviously. Tier 2 is finally been finished. And on the other side for FoCuS, we see Beastery and Lodge. One peon is idling, by the way. That's kind of strange. Shadowhunter once again the second hero. But this time he's not going for creeping on his own. He's going over to the Undead immediately. Wanting to go for a Hex, wants to go for the Death Knight kill. But WFZ stays passive. First Hex on that Fiend. But he can only block so much. Is there a coil left? Yes, there is.
But this Fiend is gonna die, no questions asked. And I wonder why WFZ went out there. Like, if you want to go for some creeping, then you do it immediately. Because if you wait like outside your base and you go forward and back and forward and back, you may as well wait the 20 seconds for the Lich. Now he's out. If the Lich had been out when the Fiend was still alive, that Fiend would not have died with Frost Armor. Well, maybe it would have actually with Sweet Score, I'm not sure. But now the Skeleton actually sees the kind of greedy creeping from FoCuS. This can be a disastrous creep jack. Blade Master is not level 3 just yet, by the way, this can be a great item. It's not though. It's the Lionhorn of Stormwind, and the Undead is coming in, but he only has 3 Fiends. Is this gonna be enough? There's no heal wave. Ooh, this is gonna be a close fight, but FoCuS doesn't want to take it. Again, FoCuS doesn't look to be too aggressive.
No, he pulls the speed scroll and gets out immediately. So a little more experience for WFZ here. He will not find level 3 on his Death Knight though. He's sharing the experience with the Lich, who is +9 already, thanks to the Claws of Attack. And FoCuS might have dealt the right choice by skipping the Merchant, because now he can get it. And Cannon of Energy for the Lich, great item. Is it gonna be a Tome of Experience for him or not? That would be a huge boost. No, Tome of Intelligence +2 on the Shadowhunter. Not that bad. And level 3 for the Blade Master, so he can roam around with a Windwalk level 2. Very, very easy. And WFZ is taking the big turtles, and once again it's super risky, because he's very, very close to the Orc and he finds him. But he gets the big turtle, big healing potion again. The Lich is super low though. There is mana. He doesn't expect him. There's Frost Armor. It's gonna be very, very dicey. Here we go. No coil! The coil arrives too late and he lets the Lich die.
That was such a huge mistake. Like, what the hell? He ran away from the creep camp like he was sensing that the Orc was going to take it. And it's a pretty sensible thing to expect. Because you saw the Orc run away with the speed scroll. Natural thinking is he's going to be next. He is going to be at the Merchant, which gives this decent experience, good item, ward, all this. Then he's going to be right next to you. So taking this turtle, as you said, was pretty greedy. And running away after that, I thought was pretty brilliant. But why doesn't he coil the Lich, man?
He had like 300 mana points.
That was a really big mistake. That was a huge mistake. Like, I guess he knew that the backstab wasn't going to be enough. I knew that as well. But when the backstab comes out, using the coil before the next attack comes in with the big attack speed from the Blade Master is pretty much impossible to do. So, WFZ is showing some weakness here. Some weakness that he cannot afford to show versus this player.
No, not versus FoCuS. He's in such a strong state at the moment. Winner of TWCL, number 2 versus Lawliot, the biggest Korean tournament we had just 1 week ago. And look at the item on the Shadow Hunter. He found the Warsong Battle Drums. If you're not that familiar with Warcraft, you might think, oh, he has the Kodo aura. That is the same aura and doesn't stack, right? Nope. That is the command aura from the little gnolls, so it stacks, and it's 25% damage from the Kodos later with the tier 3 upgrade, plus 10% from this item, so it's gonna be a lot of damage, but this damage will be countered by the Pit Lord.
By the way, I hate to correct you on this, but it's 20% on the upgrade code aura, not 25. Just a little thing there, but yeah, we see the Pit Lord now, something that 120 was so successful with. WFZ wants to do the same. He saw there was no TC, so he goes for the Pit Lord. Now he's trying to take away a creep camp from the Orc, but the Blade Master already there with a Purge, eating the Nova right away. How much healing do we have? Oh man, so much healing. SH pretty much full mana, and the creeps are still helping the Orc at the moment. Invul very early though on FoCuS' side. Seems like there's no Borrow on the Undead Actually, excuse me. And losing 2 Fiends again! Like the last fight, he takes a lot of losses before the fight even starts.
And it's looking horrible. No death for FoCuS so far. The Blade Master is killing 1 Fiend after another. Finally, the Coil finds his target, but the Shadow Hunter completely untouched. The first Howl has been used. The damage is lowered a little, but I think the Blade Master is not affected, and he has plus 20 damage. Now the Kodo is dead. 1 Fiend is out again. That's a nice thing, but what's left for the Undead? No Fiend anymore after this one, and only 1 Destroyer up in the air. The heroes have to carry, but I doubt they can do it.
Maybe now he can go for a hero kill, the Blade Master, but he escapes to the side. Lich is kept alive with a greater invulnerability, and now the Blade Master is out. Now the time for some pickoffs has come. He gets the Raider, maybe the Kodo, that would be a big one, but the Kodo has so much XP and he's coming back with a healing potion. Heal wave comes in as well. We have a lot more heal waves. Now the Lich, though, greater healing has been transferred, keeps him alive, but the crits don't care. There's no more coil, no more mana, but the Blade Master also dies. Big mistake there by FoCuS, giving up his first hero as well, but he took dealt out so much damage, getting another Ghoul as well in the TP out, level 4 for the SH. And as the dust settles, we have 41 supplies still for the Orc, only 36 for the Undead. Yeah. And this SH, most importantly, this SH will keep leveling.
Indeed, we have the Beast Scroll now. We will sell that, but it's level 4 and 4.3, I guess. On the other side, we only have a level 3 DK level, almost 2 Pit Lords, so he killed a lot in this fight. This was the first fight for the Pit Lord. The Lich is still level 2 though. That is now kind of a good thing because he's faster out than the Blade Master, a lot faster. So it's gonna be a lot more map presence for the Undead, I guess. The red spot might be a possibility at the tail of the turtle, but FoCuS, of course, once again, just like on Twisted Meadows, he knows, oh, I won this fight, my Blade Master is dead, but he's, of course, strong, my SH as well. Go for that Pocket Expo.
Yeah. Pretty much standard Orc play. You got the advantage, tier 3, alright, Expo, here we go. Undead, you gotta defeat me within the next 2 minutes or this game is over. And this, of course, puts a clock, not only on WFZ, but on this game. Unless something crazy happens, of course. And for now, the Undeads do what they always do. They try to go for some creeping, but the Lich being down for the second time is such a big problem. He's only level 2.5. Imagine he hadn't died the first time. He would be level 3 now. Yeah. Imagine he hadn't died the second time. He might be level 4. Yeah, but when the next fight starts, he might be level 4. And actually, getting into some of the mechanics here, Lich has insane intelligence gain. Lich has the highest intelligence gain per level out of any hero in the game. I think it's 3.2 or something. No other hero matches this. He gets another Scroll of the Beast, which is honestly not that great. He wants a greater mana.
The intelligence gain, of course, means that you get more damage and more mana points. That results in more damage as well.
Exactly, and you need that damage against the Shadow Hunter, who's again almost level 5, and he can get level 5 with a little camp next to his main if he so desires, which it seems like he does. Blade Master also level 4.5. WFZ will have to micro his heart out. He's gonna have to micro better than 120 in the next fight, and it's not easy to do.
That's almost a mission impossible for the German Undead, as they call him in China, since his girlfriend, or his wife now, is living here with us in Germany. And yeah, the Lich very, very close to level 3. The good thing is he has 2 more creep spots. He can do this Ogres and he can do the Tail of the Turtle, which might give him a great item. But the clock is ticking against him. We have the big upgrade for the burrow, so that won't be killed in a second. The peons are mining like crazy. Main gold mine, 4,000 gold left, so this will last a while. Headhunters are coming in, and the damage boost, of course, in the entire army is once again great. Once again, 10 plus 8 damage. Now big red spot, the Blade Master is coming in. The big item was... Oh! The Kodo Aura, the Command Aura as well, which is a nice boost.
SH has 660 mana, by the way. And I'm betting he's gonna go for a Potion of Mana. And of course, again, the synergy with a Pendant of Energy when you drop it and use the potion is just incredible.
Of course, Claws of Attack for the Blade Master, plus 13 now.
Oh,
but yeah, he took that risk and got rewarded. That's how Warcraft works. But the hero levels look a lot better for the Undead now than they were a few minutes ago. The Death Knight on its way to level 5. Lich is finally level 3, plus 19 damage. And the Pit Lord looks fairly strong as well with level 3, so level 2 Howl of Terror. But the supply numbers, that is the big problem for him.
Yeah. The thing is, he can't go for the Headhunters immediately unless they are out of position. And he needs to get rid of those because they're fairly squishy and they kill the Destroyers so quickly. But he needs to get rid of the front line first. You need to attack the front line and kite back and save your units. And it seems like he's looking for the fight right here. 60 supply for him, 71 for the Orc. And we're going in. The Headhunters kind of out of position. Howl of Terror hits, but not everything actually. He kills a Walker, but is gonna lose a Destroyer in return. He used the Beast Scroll. A lot of damage coming out right now. But he has to go back, and the numbers, man, they're just not there. The Lich now in a lot of trouble. Invul versus Invul keeps both heroes alive. The Blade Masters maybe use a little bit too early. Maybe this opens up an opportunity. Coil again, healing up the Lich, and he's going for the hero right away. The Blade Master has to be careful all the time. If you keep the Blade out of the fight, you can pretty much fight the entire Orc army with only your heroes. But again, the Shadowhunter healing, he has so much mana still remaining. But Raider after Raider is falling, and now the Howl of Terror hitting everything.
That's right, he goes for the Kodo, and that is the last one, so no more upgrade for them, but the level 5 on the Blade Master, level 3 critical strike, that will hurt a lot. Very early burrow on those Fiends. Oh, what can he do? The Headhunter's still looking strong, but Howl of Terror hits them again. The Lich can easily pick them out, but he needs the damage on the Blade Master, I feel. So once again, the Undead has to retreat. The statues are alive, and at least one, and that is so important. He needs to keep the statue alive to get some healing here, but the army of FoCuS still looking so good.
And there's no Destroyers anymore against the Spirit Link, so killing that Blade Master pretty much impossible. And to make matters worse, he has no more mana on the DK. Now the Lich with no mana for a coil is the prime target. Frost Armor slows down the Blade Master just enough. Blade Master is exposing himself, but with no more mana for Nuke. This guy doesn't have to be afraid anymore. He still has the Potion of Healing, and FoCuS is chasing back the Undead all the way to his main. Now maybe even the first hero during the Hex. Is it gonna be the case? Yes, it is. He falls. And that's GG for game number 2.
What can you do without a Death Knight? Not too much. 2-0 for South Korea versus China in this Orc versus Undead. I feel there was a lot of improvement for WFZ on this map, except of course this big Lich loss, which was pretty dumb actually. But I think the fights were way better. What do you think?
Well,
compared to Twisted, of course.
Yeah, on Twisted, I think he basically couldn't do anything anymore for the most part after that creep jack. But here again, he made some strategic decisions that I think were just horrible. Like, why don't you wait 10 seconds for your Lich?
Yeah.
You know that the Shadowhunter with a speed scroll is coming. You know your Fiends are in jeopardy. Fortunately for him, he only lost one because he was so close to his base. That could have been way worse, actually. But still, just wait those 10 seconds, man. You're not creeping anything at the moment. You're just standing outside your base doing nothing, basically. And then, of course, afterwards, the Lich. Like, what the fuck was that? He was running away from the creep camp. He knew the Blade Master was somewhere around the area. And he doesn't go for the heal. That was... You can't do that. You can't do that versus FoCuS.
He continues to impress the little South Korean orc player. We have a break here until we get map number 3, and we got another donation. Thank you very much, Drunken Sith. Just saw that the daily goal hasn't been met yet, so here's a little to get it started. I love you guys bringing Warcraft 3 back to life. Keep it up. We will do so, definitely. Thank you for the support. And yeah, we're gonna play a little commercial break here since I think it's 10-minute break on the Korean television, so we're gonna match that. And then we'll be back with NWL loser bracket round 2. WFZ, one map away from being eliminated. Can he come back into this series we're about to witness?
Hey, this is X-Lord, and you're watching Back to Warcraft.
Back with NWL loser bracket round 2. We're waiting for the game to start. FoCuS versus WFZ is the second last undead about to fall after 120 quit the tournament and gave a death win to Soin in loser bracket round 2. But we have some more minutes left, so Remo, what's up in your life nowadays?
Well, just the usual, working, studying, that stuff. Later on today, I'm gonna go to a birthday party.
Ooh.
But it's gonna be a pretty small one. I think only like 20 people or something. And tomorrow morning I gotta work, so the usual. Saturday hung up working.
Usual.
You're used to Sunday hung up Jera Cups. I'm used to Saturday hungover, of course, hungover working. So yeah, lots of little children buzzing around and gonna be smelling. Hopefully nothing on my breath.
Oh my god. I can only imagine, but I think it's not busy days at the moment at cinemas. At least for us, it's very, very calm. So I can do all the Reddit stuff at work. That's pretty nice. So I'm waiting today as the premiere screening of a documentary that I've been looking for a month. It's about Fat Wreck Records. I assume you don't know it.
No.
It's like the biggest or most famous punk rock label in the world, where bands like NoFX and stuff are publishing their records. And today is the first time in like 20 or 30 years that there's a documentary about this record label. And they did a Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign, and it's gonna be up for streaming later this night. And I prepared some nachos and cheese dip and stuff, and I'm all excited about this.
You're watching it alone, or is it kind of a group activity?
First time I'm gonna watch it alone, and then next week I'm gonna watch it again with a group of friends.
Do you also have this, like, you have those kinds of friends that you don't want to watch a movie for the first time with?
Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
they just don't appreciate the art.
Yeah, exactly.
They just, oh, what the fuck is he doing? He's such an idiot. Oh my god. It's also fun to watch movies with those kind of guys. Like, for example, if you watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil, some funny stuff. But everyone has idiot friends, right? And you drink alcohol with them and you watch stupid movies. That's great. But I don't want to watch like beautiful, engaging, and phenomenal dramas with those kinds of guys because they're just sitting in the corner. Man, that's retarded. Why the fuck is he just looking into a camera? Say something, come on. And it's like, it's the center of this character and he's developing something new right at that second. And he's like, man, that's dumb. What the fuck is this? Everyone has those kinds of guys.
Yeah, they don't appreciate art, I assume. So people are asking why 120 is out of this tournament. He gave a death win to Soin. Rumor is that he's heavily playing Hearthstone at the moment and doesn't want to focus too much on Warcraft, and that is so unfortunate.
So sad. I guess he wants to get into a game that actually involves a lot of skill. Kappa kappa. Yeah, it's such a shame. But I mean, if you are a pro gamer, unfortunately, it doesn't make sense to make that move because there's a lot more money in Hearthstone. I don't really know how big it is in China, but it's absolutely huge in Europe, man.
Yeah, I would love to see if he played the WCA qualifier or if there's even something bigger. I don't know if you can play like 2 qualifiers for the same tournament in different games at the same time.
Good question.
Does Hearthstone have a Wikipedia? I guess, right?
Yeah, they do.
Let me check that. Hearthstone.
Yeah, Hearthstone currently has more viewers on Douyu than Dota has. So Hearthstone
What?
appears to be growing incredibly quickly in China as well.
Okay, no wiki page for WCA, unfortunately, so I can't really check that out. But game number 3 is starting, so we're gonna go in-game, and it's gonna be Ancient Isles.
Alright, map number 3. FoCuS has been looking very strong so far. Map number 1 was a bad map to begin with for the Undead, and then he made quite the big mistake, cost him the game. Map number 2, he definitely made 2 mistakes, maybe more. It seems like against FoCuS today, you can't make any mistakes. 120 last week, or whenever it was, he made no mistakes almost, and gave us an amazing series against Fly. We were kind of hoping, maybe even expecting the same from this series, but so far FoCuS is absolutely the driving force. He is the dominant player here. He is dictating the pace, he's dictating the game, he is winning. He's leading 2-0. And the Undead has to change something up. He has to step up his game, he has to play better, to make it short, because so far it really hasn't worked.
Indeed. So he's starting things with a Tet build order.
Exactly.
I think it's pretty usual on Ancient Isles.
Yeah, you can pressure the Orc pretty hard here. He goes for the Ogre first, usually, then he's really hurt. Then you can chase him with a Coils, with a Dust. You can cancel healing, you can delay his creeping. And it's really hard for him to do effective evasion creeping here, because it's not that many spots that he can take with just 2 grunts or just a Blade Master solo. I mean, there's a little green camp right next to his base, and there's the other green camp in the middle of the map, but they don't give much experience at all. They're not really worth so much time. So it's a very valid strategy here, I feel. Also because it can be tough for the Undead to creep. There is a really sneaky creep route, actually, that, for example, I like to take, which is go right over to your opponent's natural. And almost no Orc ever scouts this. But the downside is, if they do, you are kind of screwed. And against FoCuS, you don't really want to take that risk. So going for the Tet VO definitely makes sense.
Yeah, FoCuS one of the more calm players, more passive players, but he has a good map vision and map control in general. That's definitely one of his strengths here, and against that you don't want to do it. It is match points for the Orc, 2 or 3 in a row. WFZ needs to win this game, this map, and the upcoming map to stay alive in this tournament. Of course, he's going for the Ogre Magi right away, but the Undead is coming. He will be a little too late to steal that one, but maybe he can get the Mauler or the Trapper. It's the Ring of Protection, the worst item outcome of this creep spot that he can get, and he isn't able to finish this, gets some skeletons. And so I guess this little early harass pays off for now. Tier 2 tech for FoCuS immediately, same goes for WFZ.
And this is very calculated play from the Undead. I like this. Like, these early game moves from WFZ, also 2014 in China for WCA, he was so good with this, especially against Human back then, because Human was the #1 thing to be afraid of. He always had these really well thought out early game movements with his DK. Again, like right here, many players would have been tempted to follow the Blade Master to cancel his healing and to annoy him. But no, he looks for the experience he can get, and because of this, he's gotten 84 experience trying to go for the kill on the Null, and gets it actually. So this movement is absolutely perfect from him so far. So this early game, very nice for him. And of course, as you mentioned, in addition, the Ring of Protection +2, also a good start for him. So pretty much as good as it gets. But of course, in the first 4 minutes, no game is ever decided, pretty much.
Well, there was a CG final.
I knew you were gonna go for that. I knew you were gonna go for it.
Between Infi and Fly, that was decided after 4 minutes. Also, the WCA group stage between 120 and Shishi, the final and map, was also decided in 4 minutes. That was so crazy by 120. But yeah, you're definitely right. In 99% of the cases, a game is decided after a minute 10.
Look at skeleton scouting again. It's so good. He sees where the Orc is. If he had been like 10 seconds later, this could have been a disastrous creep jack. He could have lost the grunt here. So again, man, WFZ's early game movement, I think that's his biggest strength in not only this matchup, but I think in general. Like, no one knows how to control his DK and skeletons so well. And you may say, yeah, well, it's 1 unit and 2 skeletons. Like, how hard can it be? It's actually really hard. You have to have down all the timings, have to know where the opponent can be at any point in the map. And seems like he's got the right sense again. And look at the Acolyte, he sees where the Orc is again.
Yeah. Is he fast enough to steal this Warlord? That would be a huge pickup. There's plenty of mana. He's waiting for it, but of course FoCuS don't want to let him get that for free. So he gets away from that spot, saves it for later, and attacks the first Fiend that is on the battlefield. 30 food for the Undead, 28 for FoCuS. A little better position now to kill the Warlord, but it's not going for it. Attacking the DK, wanted to get him low, but it's changing, not in favor of the Orc he is, but he has plenty of mana for Windwalk. Tier 2 tech has finished. The Lich once again is coming as a second hero. On the Orcish side, we see the Shadow Hunter, Beastry and Spirit Lodge, but the position of the Tier 2 buildings is horrible, I feel.
Yeah, but it's not like he's playing against Orc or Elf. It's like he's not going to be attacked, especially with the Ted BO. There's only now 3 Fiends out, and it's too dangerous to run into an SH with Speed Scroll. Speaking of which, last game he was too confident against an SH, but this time it's only a level 1 Blade Master. Can he risk it? And I say risk because it is risky, definitely. But now he sees it again. Skeleton scouts the creep, but no, he doesn't want to lose Fiends again. He's retreating.
And that was rewarded by FoCuS with a Mana Stone. Huge item for the SH. So much more mana regeneration and of course the opportunity to devour it for 300 mana points. Basically a mix of Zoe Mask and Potion. Tier 3 tech by FoCuS. The first Raiders are coming and Snare upgrade is coming. He's keeping tabs on the army and trying to deny the healing with a skeleton here.
I've never seen an Orc be slowed down so much.
Yeah.
Like, this is, what now, 9 minutes maybe? 8 minutes? Something like this. And he's still double level 1. Skeleton still sees the Orc. By the way, one Skeleton cancelled the healing there on the Grunt, so they're both kind of low. Now, the Murlocs are gonna apply poison everywhere. Hex counters the coil. Might he still be in time? No! Level 2 finally, and this is the Wand of the Wind. This can be huge, actually, in the early game especially. But he runs out with a Speed Scroll. He loses the Grunt regardless though, and this Speed Scroll is actually a big deal. He can't use it offensively anymore, but it's still running for the time being. And there we see it, the Wand of the Wind. No coil can be used, but the ghouls are here as well. Do we have a dust? No, we don't. The Blade Master, Mana Stone being used. He windwalks away, he's being healed. Where's the dust? He's not using it, but he can't kill the Blade Master anyways. And he has to use another Hex, so he loses a Fiend, but he gets the Grunt and the Mana Stone. Yeah. And 2 charges from the Wand. This is an absolutely different WFZ. He's playing basically perfectly so far, I would say.
Yeah, Wand of the Wind usage from FoCuS was great. We saw the animation for Coil. The arm was already in the air, but then Cyclone struck him and the Fiend died. But yeah, that could have been a lot worse regarding the item that were used by the Orc. So now it's time to creep up the Undead heroes. I think he's close to tier 3. He is tier 3 already. So Destroyer upgrade is coming and the Lich of Corruption is not that far away. There's no backpack on the Fiends actually, so he has to get back to pick up the Orb. In the meantime, the Orc is creeping. Level 2.5 for the Blade Master. Reju Potion immediately sold. And level 2 on the SH as well, so Heal Wave is a thing finally, but the mana is kinda low for the SH here. And the Undead has the Orb. Tier 3 Destroyer upgrade is coming as well, and then I guess might be time to fight.
Players' forces are under attack.
At the moment, of course, Orc has huge advantage because double level 2 is way better than double level 1. But the funny thing is, Destroyers are also really good against a low level Blade Master because he has to do the most damage, and he basically at the moment has barely any damage at all. So the Destroyers are the X factor. Does he have the upgrade finished? Not yet.
Oh, Zeppelin action by FoCuS! And a Zapper. Usually he plays very, very, very standard, and such tricks are only there for players like Lawlight. But this time he's changing things up and spiced things up a little. And let's see what he can do. The Zapper now moving. And here comes the drop with Raiders towards the Haunted Gold Mine.
How quick is the Black Citadel with the slow on the Zapper? Not quick enough, but the Acolyte blocks it, but not well enough, but only gets one Ziggurat actually, so that's not that big of a deal. Losing a Raider here, I don't know why he unloaded that one. To ensnare the Destroyer so he doesn't have vision, so maybe there was ensnare, web I mean. Pretty nice choice actually, he gives up a Raider. I don't think there was web, but it's the safe choice in the end. And that's just because he's afraid of the push. There's the Pit Lord, and I said before how weak the Blade Master is. Imagine a 30% damage debuff from the Pit Lord, and that's the reason he's picked, by the way. He is a 1-point wonder. I don't think there's a skill as good on level 1 as Hall of Terror. 30% damage reduction when there is no or very little dispel. This is incredibly strong. And what is FoCuS doing here? This is such a greedy creep camp. There is no speed scroll, and now there is Nova.
Level 2 on the Lich, exactly. The Orb of Corruption is in full effect. He got the Berserker to deal some more damage, wanting to snipe the statue immediately, but the Raider's gonna die for that. He gets the statue, or thanks to the creep, he gets the statue, but as I mentioned, the Raider in return. Fiend is about to die, not even Frost Armor can help. Dispel by the Destroyers. 2 Destroyers up in the air, 1 with mana. He's going for the SH. There is no healing at the moment. Oh boy, Wind of the Wind once again being used, but the SH still gonna die. And that's looking perfect for the Undead so far.
Yeah, with the creeps in the back there, it looked like a good fight for the Orc, but nah, not at all. That SH was not level 3, and because of all the hexes he used, and he had no clarity, he had no mana, and now he's losing everything apart from the Blade. He goes for another Raider, that Fiend is being saved. Level 3 on the DK, who needs this, man? I only need a Pit Lord, that's all I ever wanted. The Blade Master finds a kill here, he still has mana for Windwalk, so he will get away, and look at how greedy he is. He wants to go for the Fiend, but there should be coil. Actually, no, there is not. But he's being slowed down. Is the Blade Master overstepping? Seems like he was. GG. What a performance.
Wow. Wow! Constant improvement by WFZ. I think it was better already on Turtle Rock than it was on Twisted Meadows. Now, it was, yeah, as you mentioned, basically a perfect game from the Undead. And he's back into the series 2-1 only. But of course, there are 2 match points left for FoCuS, and the remaining maps are Echo Isles and Tarina Stand.
I think those are kind of decent maps, though, for both races. Like, Terranas, and it's usually never like that map. There's mercenary camps, and there's Goblin Laboratories, and there's easy expansions. But it's not like Orc makes too much use of those. It's mostly about the creeping. That's the number one thing against Orc. Can you find your levels? That's the most important thing, I feel. So, WFZ, if he continues playing like this, I think he definitely has a chance. And how this can turn around, right? Like, the first 2 games, absolutely dominant from FoCuS, and this game, he just didn't have a chance. Like, if WFZ does it right, he can beat him.
Yeah. And of course, there's also the momentum that might be swinging at the moment. I mean, FoCuS looking so good in game 1 and 2, maybe feeling overconfident, maybe feeling like, today there's nothing that can beat me. And then comes the mercenary creep spot and beats him. So, yeah, I think on Echo, FoCuS is really, really strong. There's once again to go the opportunity to go for the expansion. There's, of course, the opportunity to abuse the marketplace, and on that map there's 10 spots where you can find claws, so very, very likely to see a high stack Blade Master, and countering that is super duper hard.
But I don't even feel in these late game scenarios in the Chinese Warcraft world and Korean Warcraft world, I don't think the Blade Master with, let's say, plus 35 damage or something like this is actually that incredibly dominant, because the Undeads always go for the Blade, and if you especially don't have boots, which some players drop, which I think is a horrible choice, then you can not run away. Wait a second, I have to join the game. Is it up?
Yeah.
It's Secret Valley, though. Did we say Secret Valley before?
No.
Secret Valley is a different story, man. Not Echo Isles, where of course the Pimp Blade Master can be a factor, but again, Blade Master in the Asian scene always being focused so much that you can't just stack him with claws only and you can hope that he survives, because he will die if he has no survivability. But for that you need a leveled Lich, and Secret Valley is hard for this. I'm gonna get into it once we start the game, as both players seem to be ready. But of course, Secret Valley, also the fountains, an issue. So I wonder with the map vetoes what the Undead actually got rid of. Are you aware?
I guess I was told once that there are no vetoes.
There are no vetoes.
No, so you can just pick whatever you want.
Well, that's really tough when you have to play Undead versus Orc on TM and Secret Valley. It's a pretty tough best of 5.
Game starts. Map number 4. FoCuS versus WFZ. Once again, match point for South Korea in this battle versus China. Secret Valley it is. You've been talking about this. There are 2 heal fountains. And in general, this favors the Orc since the fountains heal percentage-wise and not a fixed amount of HP. So that definitely favors the Orc usually.
Yeah, of course you can never fight at the fountain, and probably you don't want to fight near the fountain, because the Orc can send the units back and send them back in again. But there is, weirdly enough, a benefit for Undead here with the healing fountains, and that is, Orcs are often greedy, don't get the shop, don't get healing self. So, when you get the Blade Master low, he has to go to the fountain to heal up. He doesn't have the self, so you have some breathing time, some breathing space, and some time for yourself. This can, weirdly enough, be a benefit. But we see the Undead is not going for the early Fiends, not going for the early creeping. He's instead going for the TED BO once again. And when we remember how strong it was on Ancient Isles, like such a good performance from a TED BO, I don't know that I've ever seen against Orc. That was just perfect in every regard. But yeah, Secret Valley, the big issue is, where do you level your Lich? Because usually, when your Lich is out, you have already taken your Gnolls, you maybe took your expansion already, and the tiny green creep camps around your main, you've taken some of those, and if you haven't, they don't give that much experience. The middle will almost always have been taken by the Orc, because usually he has a faster SH, and he's definitely stronger in the early game. And going onto the other side of the map, hoping to get some creeps there, very risky, and they might be gone already. So that leaves you with a red camp and with the fountains. And you can't creep either of those with a Lich, because you don't have a web for the Drake. Because, well, you can get it, but it's a huge investment that you don't want to make. And going for the red spot, if you get creep jacked, it might just be game over from there. So I think the biggest issue here on Secret Valley is actually finding second hero levels.
Yeah, I would agree. Red spot is getting a little easier once you get the Orb of Corruption, but of course you need tier 3 for that, and it's gonna take a while. So yeah, it is gonna be hard. Maybe he can get a grunt in the early game or something that boosts his way up. So Death Knight is out, Peon Scout coming in, seeing the TD build order. Blade Master is out as well, and he's going for the Murlocs first.
He knows that. Yeah, he knows about the TED BO. So he's going for the safe camps early on. He wants to get a little bit of experience here and there, not taking the big ones, not taking the risky ones. And the problem I was touching on there with the second hero not finding experience because many of the creep camps are gone is actually not that much the case with this build order. When you go for the fast fiends, the Orc will have crept away a lot. But this way, you slow him down, so there will be a lot of creep camps left. So I really like this fast DK actually on Secret Valley, now that I think about it. We don't usually see it. Usually we see the fast fiends, I think. So yeah, cool choice. Of course, it's harder to play the DK first than the fiends first, because you have to keep track of the Orc. You want to find him, you want to slow him down. But like we see from humans oftentimes on this map, there is so many little green camps to take. So many little spots to get a little bit of experience here, get a little bit there. So keeping him from level 2, like he did on Ancient Isles, is gonna be near impossible.
Yeah. Level 1.5 already for the Blade Master, Slippers and Mantle. So a little more mana for Windwalk, a little more damage and attack speed through the Slippers. And the Death Knight has not done anything yet. Once again, scouting is nice from WFZ. The Acolyte is scouting the fountain. Death Knight is scouting here. We saw a lot of skeletons scouting here. This little merchant where FoCuS is camping at the moment, getting the boots. He's not going for that Magi creep. Usually he does that, I guess.
You can't do that with that low HP.
Exactly. That, and of course, I think WFZ would have known about this. So it's gonna be the item carrying creeps here to boost the Blade Master even further, to get a strong, very early Blade Master, and here he has it. Plus +6, plus 11 damage already.
Yeah, this is already a very different early game for an Ancient Isles. He's gonna be level 2 here in a second, and he has the nuts pretty much. The boots, the circlet, the slippers, the claws. This Blade Master is as strong a level 2 hero as you're ever gonna see. And the Undead has to content himself with the tiny camps for now, while 2 grunts are also trying to find the UD. But look at this, he actually pulled out the null so that the grunts won't see them during nighttime. Like, these tiny moves, it's just incredible. Those little things he thinks about, WFZ, is crazy. And now, he saw the Orc trying to go for his natural. That's of course a very, well, logical step to take when you're already at the fountain down there. But the Acolyte saw it, so FoCuS can't really go for it. But now, it's the Blade Master's time to shine. There's no level 2 on the DK, so no aura, there's no frost armor. And the Blade Master has boots, so mucho fun to be had.
Yeah, but he can block, and that's working pretty damn nice for him, so he keeps everything alive. Now the Lich is coming. Tier 2 is finished for WFZ. What's FoCuS state? He is on Tier 2, of course, Beastery, Spirit Lodge, the usual stuff, and the Shadow Hunters, so once again, no Tauren Chieftain. For example, Fly likes to mix things up, but FoCuS, I guess. He plays this Raider Walker Shadow Hunter stuff for 10 years maybe now, and there's no reason to switch it up.
Has been working well for him so far. Last game, Ancient Isles, of course, was a standout performance. Something that you can't rely on happening too much. DK is not gonna find level 2 even with this camp. And we saw him being very aggressive last game, where he knew that the Orc was only level 1 with both his heroes. Can he afford to do this time? He scouts with a skeleton again. I have to mention once more, this scouting is just out of this world, but he's gonna be too late anyways, and oh boy, does he ever get rewarded. Claws +9. He might be able to get a grunt though.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize.
See it because it's nighttime. I think FoCuS microed them away too early. The Blade Master, of course, getting the Mauler as well, and that's gonna be level 2 very, very soon. You talked about this, leveling up the Lich is so hard. Death Knight's still level 1 as well, and the Blade Master is reigning supreme over the entire Undead army at the moment.
Gets the last hit, that was an important one. There would have been level 3 for the Blade, but the SH is here, Speed Scroll in hand. But only 2 grunts. Well, 4 now that the other 2 healing from the fountain are coming back. And again, Skeleton getting perfect information. This is outstanding, what he's doing with his skeletons. But is it enough? Only level 1.
Yeah, it's still looking bad, I feel. Tier 3 halfway through, so it's gonna take a while since destroyers are gonna be there. It looks like FoCuS is gonna go on the aggressive. More map presence. He's walking out further on Secret Valley, going for that Magi here because, of course, big consumable item, always great against Undead. But from the north comes the Scourge.
Oh, Ensnare on the grunt, Ensnare on a second grunt. This could be potentially 2 kills. He's going for the Fiend himself though. He's level 3 now, lots of damage. He saves the Fiend for now. His first grunt has fallen. The Ensnare is definitely going in WFZ's favor right here. Maybe going for an SH surround would be a possibility here, but he loses a Fiend. Now there's Ensnare on the Orcish side as we see Speed Scroll, and here we go. Frost Armor not that useful for these 10 seconds. We have another Coil saving the Fiend. But now the statue is coming in. This is a lot of sustain, but still the second Fiend will fall, and this is so much Orc stuff. I think he has to TP. I think he has to TP right now.
He gets a grunt in return, but once again the Ensnare, man. Nice micro by FoCuS, getting that Raider away, and he lost that Fiend. So only 1 remaining. Can he get the grunt kill? I think he's not fast enough. He has the aura now, but it's only Frostburn firing this up. I don't know. Shadowhunter gained almost 60% of a level here in this fight. And shared it with the Blade Master, who is such a beast, man. Level 3 and plus 20 damage. Without Coil level 2, that's so hard.
And when you fight Tier 2 versus Tier 2, Spirit Link is almost unbeatable. He was only able to get that unit to start the fight because at the start of the fight because there was no Spirit Link, but now that it's out, it is an incredibly hard fight to take, and of course we see the Destroyer upgrade coming, but it still takes like 50 seconds. 50 seconds where FoCuS should be way superior, and he's still out on the map with only 1 Fiend. Again, oh, nice burrow dodge there of the Ensnare, but the dust comes out. Here comes the Frost Armor, and keeps the Fiend alive. Whew, so he's counting on his micro here.
Yeah. And he has the orb now, which makes things, of course, a lot easier. We will see a third hero, I guess. And it's the Pit Lord again. So you talked about this. Damage reduction is very great on that one. Especially against a Pimp Blade Master like that. That might be the solution. But this Blade Master getting an Invo Potion, it might be safe from the Howl. Still no level 2. Still no Nova. The crits are coming out. It's level 1 crit and we see 177 damage.
Player's forces are
Is
under
that level
attack.
1 crit? Like,
I was
how
wondering
can
as well while I said it.
No, that's level 2 crit. Was it 177?
Yeah.
That's level 2 crit. Interesting. He's going for the level 1 Windwalk. That's very unusual. Huh. I guess when the fight, when you hit level 3, there was a fight happening. So I guess it made sense in that scenario, but that does decrease his potential for harass here. But he's saving a lot of mana. He's level 2 now on the Lich. So important to have the Nova. And he gets the 2 Ogres in the middle. That's a huge deal, man. He got the Beast Scroll and the Greater Mana. If he can get rid of the Walkers right away, then the Beast Scroll and the Howl will be absolutely huge.
I think he doesn't even have to get rid of the Walkers. There's only one. So you have Hall of Terror, you have Beast Scroll, you have Frost Armor and some Skeletons. So you need to dispel a lot, and one Walker is definitely not going to be enough to do that.
And the thing is, he also needs to cast Spirit Link. Spirit Link is 75 mana. So I think this is the first big mistake from FoCuS, only getting 1 Walker.
Red spot for the Undead. The item was not that great for the SH. Ring of Regeneration, what is it? Cloak of Flames also. Well, for the Pit Lord, might be very nice.
Oh, he has to TP though, right away. Right away. Yeah, you can't fight this. Does he lose anything on the way out? The Lich! Pulls the Invul.
And Tomb of Experience! And that gives the Shadow Hunter level 3. Oh my god, such a big deal here. So much more healing. And the first Headhunters are coming. The Lich did not get level 3. The Death Knight is not level 3, but he'll find it now. Will it be too late though? FoCuS already up at 50. He can get the next dragon, and that might be the Vamp Aura or another great item.
Is he gonna be going for the expansion again? He hasn't had that fight where he took a huge advantage. In the middle of the map before tier 3, he took a bit of an advantage, but he also lost some units in return. And he finds... Oh, the Vamp Aura!
Well, this has been the case throughout the entire game, and also the past weeks, I guess. FoCuS and the RNGesus, they seem to be very, very, very good friends. On the other side, the Undead wasn't unlucky, but FoCuS has just crept a lot more, and so he got a lot more good items. The Blade Master is plus 23 now with the Orb of Lightning, and of course the Purge ability. I don't know if that's beatable here.
He saw the orc coming with a skeleton once again, so he morphed all of his destroyers, and here comes the first fight, immediately going for the walker, but it's being microed away. Now going for the headhunters. Once those are gone, it's pretty easy for the destroyers to survive, actually. Now going for the walker. Is he finally gonna be able to get him? Come on, finish the job. He's not focusing right, and now the walker's healed up again. Big mistakes from the undead, and the beast scroll immediately dispelled. This walker should have died a long time ago, and on the backside, he's losing so much. Now finally the walker dies, but is it too late? He's killing more raiders though, and out comes a pause. As we are receiving spikes, apparently. But for example, when focusing units like this for the walker, 120 would never let that thing survive. There would come a Nova and the focusing would be immediately dead. But here the fight continues. Another Raider dies, but the Blade Master in the front, man, he can do whatever he wants. Supply, though, kindly, weirdly enough, still even. But now he's losing more and more and more. Seems like the Pit Lord is not doing the greatest job. This game doesn't seem to be too impressive. The Lich on the north, very, very hurt. Frost Armor for now, keeping him alive. Almost a surround on the Pit Lord, actually. He gets another Berserker. Coil keeps the Pit Lord alive. Howl of Terror coming out again, but FoCuS, man, he again has these numbers. Doesn't seem like he can defeat him. Coil again. Pit Lord just barely surviving. If he gets that Kodo, he doesn't get a Fiend, but I guess he gets a kill anyways. And again, the end snare. This will be his death. Yes! Critical strike ensures it. This fight's handily won.
Yeah, disastrous a bit for WFZ. Not killing that walker was actually so big. As you mentioned, he immediately dispelled the Scroll of the Beast. Then later, he immediately dispelled the Howl of Terror. And of course, Spirit Link. Man, this little walker here, maybe MVP of the game for FoCuS at the moment, next to the Blade Master, of course. Level 4.5 for this tanky beast. And what can WFZ throw against them? No level 3 Lich, no level... no Pit Lord at all at the moment. I don't know. It's winnable. He used the big mana potion on his Death Knight. His coils were on point. But what's it worth if there's Purge slowing you down so much?
There was also a pretty big macro mistake, by the way, from the Undead. He only had the 5th Ziggurat very late. So when the fight started, he only had the 3 destroyers to go above 50. But usually you want, when you are at 50 and there's still creeps left on the map, you want to go above 50 as quickly as possible so you can have those numbers to contest the creep camps. But he wasn't able to because the Ziggurat was so late, and that was a macro mistake. So he did have 54 supply, I think, when the fight started, or 56, but he could have had like 5 or 6 more.
The Blade Master, of course, finding boots of Quel'Thalas and is now plus 36 damage when he's in Kodo range.
Yeah.
So
he is a bit of a liability, though. A little bit. He has no survivability items. He only has 700 HP.
He has an Invo potion.
Yeah. That saves him for 7 seconds, though, only. Of course, there's an SH with mana potion. If there was a Dark Ranger, this would be a lot more dangerous, but there is only a Pit Lord. And it seems like the Undead feels he needs to fight again.
Yeah, he wants to focus the Kodo, but it's of course completely undoable to kill 2 of them because they have such a huge HP range. And the Blade Master is just going ham. There is level 5. Critical strike level 3. Good luck fighting that. 236 damage. And the Raiders are coming. The Ensnares are flying. The Headhunters are approaching as well. 324!
And he's just chewing through everything. He doesn't have enough anymore. Double level 5 heroes soon to come for FoCuS. But now the Blade Master has to use the invul. That was still in his inventory. The Kodo has eaten the A-bomb. That one doesn't taste good, but it certainly is good for the game. The Lich in trouble now. The Hex a little bit too late. Maybe spikes really are an issue. Howl of Terror now hitting everything. But what does he have left? One Fiend burrowing, saving itself just barely. But now only heroes. The Lich in trouble. 288 to finish things off. FoCuS takes it.
Who was this one caster again who said Pimp Blade Masters are not that big of a deal in Chinese and Asian Warcraft?
Well, when you have that big of an advantage, you can't afford to go for the Blade Master.
I know, I'm just fooling with you.
Yeah, if you stat stacked and you can keep him safe, he is absolutely a beast. But if you watch the top undeads, usually they keep the Blade Master kind of out. But it's just so hard when the heroes get up in high end levels. Level 5 Blade Master, soon to come level 5 on the SH. And the Vamp Aura, actually. Yeah. That gives so much sustain. Like a critical strike for 300, let's say. And 15% of that is healed. Yeah. That is Neo.
Do the math on stream. 45.
It's 45, exactly. So just for hitting, you get 45 for a crit. And he's, of course, has very high attack speed. Pretty crazy.
But yeah, I think throughout the maps, FoCuS has a deserved win here, especially on map 1 and 2. 4 was a little lucky, but I guess he earned it, and he is in the loser bracket round 3 now, fighting So-In in an Orc Mirror, which is pretty rare nowadays.
Yeah, I remember back then in WC3L, the last season we had. Oh man, it was only Orc Mirrors.
Don't bring them memories back. I forgot about that.
But So-In, you said before, you don't feel like he's very good at all, as hard as that sounds. But against FoCuS, man, like, it's gotta be a super tough matchup. But I guess So-In was able to defeat Check, something that pretty much no one was expecting.
True.
But still, WFZ is out, man. He was the strongest undead in the world 2014. He had a really strong performance, game number 3 on Ancient Arts. His early game, I think, still is absolutely immaculate. But I think in late game, he doesn't have what it takes currently. It seems like really 120 is the only guy around who can hang with the best of them.
Yeah, so once again, we have to be believers, we Undead fans around the world, because he is the only Undead remaining. But he has to face the loser of Infi versus Moon that we're gonna see tomorrow. El Clasico, the 5th race versus the 6th race tomorrow here on Back to Warcraft. So the next game is coming up. It's also loser bracket round 2. It's gonna be Joshishi versus Romantic and Night Elf versus Human. Another best of 5, but I think we're gonna take a break first for the Korean television to set everything up. We're gonna get clearance on that and closing the series here. Unfortunately, WFZ is out, but FoCuS continues to impress throughout the entire scene. I mean, the TWCL win just 1 week ago or whatever it was. What else was there? I think in QSL he's also doing good. And he won the last Rust Brain Cup. So this dude is definitely on fire. And yeah, we're gonna see more of him tomorrow in Rust Brain Cup. And of course throughout the Korean WCA qualifier, which starts April 21st, 6 a.m. Central European Standard Time. Yeah, tons of Warcraft.